But guys, this is the most beautiful thing. There's a point where your parents go from being your parent to your friend. And you're no longer just looking at them laterally. Now you're looking at them horizontally. And eventually you're the one who's looking down as they're starting to struggle. So you have to have that mindset of realizing there's going to be an evolution provided you guys both try to grow together. You know, the first time you had to figuratively slap your parents upside the head and be like, go to your doctor's appointment.
Yeah!
Bro, I could look at my mom and be like, hey, stupid, you about to go blind. Go to your eye appointment. No, but I don't want to. You're going to go blind. You're literally going to do more work for me when you blind. Go to your goddamn doctor's appointment so you make it easier for me to take care of you. If you're watching right now, I want you guys to think about your loved ones. And I want you to ask yourself this question. So when you think about your entire life and how you were raised,
God damn.
did your parents do a good job? I don't want you to answer too quickly. I want you to think about the question and what's your answer.
Why is...
It's better when you explain it.
Okay, peep game. So this guy comes up to me, right? This guy comes up to me. And it's like, did your parents do a good job? And I was like, well, I mean, they did the best they could. And it's like, that's not what I asked you. It was like, and he said, what I mean is, I could try to perform an open heart surgery and do my best. Somebody's dying. Because even though I'm doing my best, I'm not going to do a good job because that's not what I do. Now, did your parents do a good job? And boy, that f***ed me up. Because it's true.
I'm going to say this. I think as kids, especially immigrants, we have an instinctual and cultural demand to protect our parents because they've given so much, they traveled from far, they sacrificed a lot of things. We feel the need to protect them, and that includes criticism. And I understand it. And I want to make this clear when I ask this question. I'm not telling you to not be grateful.
No.
I'm not telling you to not respect them.
That's not what I asked.
I'm not telling you not to look up to them and say, you persevere a lot, and I respect that. That's not what I'm saying.
That's not the question.
What I'm saying is...
What you saying?
Through your upbringing, were you given the optimal circumstances or the adequate baseline to be able to do well, to be able to have a life of a child that you feel is fit? And it's interesting because people will say, oh, no, I will never say anything. But you notice the life that they try to give their kids is substantially different than what their parents gave them. The reason being is because they understand instinctively some of the things circumstantially that were bad in their upbringing, and so they don't want to transfer that onto their kids. Our parents brought us into this world through no desire of our own. They made that choice, right? And as a result, it is also the responsibility to do the best that they can in giving us a life. But through circumstances, and my mom, I hold her on the highest pedestal. My mom is my homie. She's my mom. She's my confidant in a lot of ways. I love her to death. But I can also recognize many ways in which her parenting was terrible. But it's not entirely her fault. Even though her parenting was terrible, it's not entirely her fault. Her circumstances, war-torn country, didn't have an education, came here, didn't speak language, just trying to piece it together, doing it on her own. I understand everything. And it makes me respect her. But it doesn't change the fact that, as a result, I didn't have any guidance. As a result, I had to do so much on my own. You get me? And that's still my road dog. I'll give everything to her. But it doesn't change the circumstances. And the reason why I'm saying this is that when you start to look at it, we are so protective of our parents, we haven't even given us a chance to forgive them or to potentially criticize them in ways that can make them better. Because believe it or not, my mom has improved. She's become a much better parent over the years. I'm one of 7, middle child. She has. I've watched her change. But that didn't come from just being like, ooh, go queen, you can never. No, there were some tough conversations that had to happen. There was some self-reflection, be like, yo, this is fucked up. There's no reason that I've been raising myself for these last 5 years. It doesn't make sense. I'm 10, what? But that's the circumstance, the cards I was dealt with. I'm not going to sit here and complain about it, but we are going to have certain conversations so that we can fix things for the future. But also, so I can speak to that resentment or those weird feelings I have when it comes to my mom. To the things that I've always kept bottled inside because I want to be a good son. And I've been able to not only let those things out, but also heal from them. And then from there, create a space where she can come back into my life in a way that's much better, that I can embrace her in a lot more ways. And then I can be a better son. So this conversation that I'm talking about is one that you may not even have with your parent, because maybe your parent is not ready to acknowledge the ways in which they fucked up.
Yo.
But you still have to have that conversation with yourself or someone close to you to be able to let that stuff out, to be able to acknowledge where you've been hurt. Because you can't forgive if you can't acknowledge you've been hurt or you've been neglected or whatever the fuck it is. You can't overcome something that you haven't acknowledged even exists. And a lot of kids, when it comes to their parent, have certain behaviors that if you ask them about, like they snap at little things or they get annoyed or they avoid their parents because they don't want to talk to them. The reason why that is there's a lot of unresolved issues there. And so that's what I mean. You can learn to maybe potentially even fix those if you have that conversation. So that's what I want to say.
Yeah, no, I had to. Me overall, I'd have to give my parents a B minus because.
You gave him a grade.
Yeah.
I ain't even mad at you. You took it to the next level.
I'd give him a B minus because my mom hearing that would be livid because my mom was a grade A student.
Yeah, you know what you do? On Mother's Day,
Head up a report card with B's and C's, my nigga.
and just for an extra joke, don't be serious, but just sorry about that.
Oh no, man! Yeah.
You're not actually gonna do anything with it.
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll fucking do it. I don't care. But yeah, like I'd give her a B minus because overall my parents, they did a good job, but they did some pretty fucked up shit. Caribbean people and people from immigrants have a propension sometimes to raise the way they raise their kids is very messed up. You know, they raise by insulting. Insult people. They insult. That's fucked up. They say things that are crazy. I remember my parents used to say a couple of times, "Yo, I don't know what I did to have you. I don't know what I did to have you." Funny story is,
what do you mean? I don't know what I did.
I don't know what I did to deserve you, to have you, like to have, not to deserve you, but
well, hold up. So explain how it happens.
My dad was always saying, like, whenever he was pissed off, what did I do? What did I do? Oh God, what did I do to get you?
To deserve you as a child.
To deserve you as a child, yeah. And it's crazy because I was not doing drugs. I wasn't in no gangs. I was not doing that. I was in none of that. None of that shit. None of that hoodlum shit. Never been to prison. Never did none of that shit. At the time, I was not even drinking alcohol. You understand what I'm saying? And I got fed up. One day. One day he said that shit to me. I don't know what I did. Oh, he was praying. Like it's like a
God, I don't know.
God, I don't know what I did to have this child, right? And that's a fucked up thing to say to someone, to your kid. And one time he said that, and I was like, that's the last time he says that without me saying nothing. And I remember one day he said that one last time. He said, I don't know, oh God, what I did to deserve you. And what I told him, it was like, well, if you don't remember, it must have been boring as hell. And I turned around and ran because his face changed and he jumped. We ran. And that was that. But it's some messed up shit to say. It's some messed up stuff to say. There's a lot of things that are crazy.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of things and traumas that I learned from my parents that I got. The trust issues and stuff like that. So yeah, the B minus is for that. Overall, they did a good job, but they did some fucked up shit. And at the light of those messed up things that they did, I had to eventually just look at them, and not to them, but just to me. You know, it was for me. It was not even for them. Whatever. They didn't even know. Parents tend to not even know at some point. They don't know. They don't even recollect that they beat me. They're like, oh, we didn't beat you that hard. Yeah. You did. Okay? And so I had to forgive them. You don't know, but you're holding to a lot of things. So whenever you go visit them, when you snap out, it's just the accumulation. But if that's because you didn't let that shit, you didn't let that stuff go. If you don't let that stuff go, then it's always gonna come back, and you're gonna be tense and so you have to, let it out.
It's a balance.
Yeah.
In that, some of you guys, all you do is complain about your parents. not recognizing their circumstances and the things that they did right. And the circumstances that were given to them that were probably unfair. Okay? And then there's also the portion where, like, some of you just spend all day protecting your parents no matter what, even when you're holding to a lot of resentment. Bruv, the way your parents raise you and treat you oftentimes results in how you end up loving other people.
Yeah.
That is the reason why people from two-parent households are far more likely to be able to do relationships and all this other stuff, is because the dynamics that they witness in terms of maintaining a relationship, they carry on into their own lives. Kids for single-parent households, that's a struggle. Because you don't even witness it. And your relationship with your parent, whichever one's at home, is oftentimes tenuous because they're so stressed out.
You have to find something else.
So you respect them for staying and taking care of it, but the stress that they put you under as a result of their circumstances is a lot. My mom, God bless her, barely saw her because she was working multiple jobs trying to make ends meet, and I always loved her for that. But when she did come home, she was so stressed out from her job that she was hard to be around. I had a hard time having any kind of conversation. I can honestly say this. For the first 17 years of my life, I had zero conversations with my mom. And when I say a conversation, I mean I sit down, she says something, I say something, and it's not like, what do you want to eat? Chicken? No, I never had those kind of, because it was so much.
Gets it tough.
It's so much, right? But she would praise me every time I helped out, when I would pay extra. I had a job at 16 paying bills. And so my rapport with her was like, oh, if I just help out around the home and do stuff, then, you know.
I'm going to have peace.
And that ended up being the exact pattern that I engaged in with all my relations. That ended up being what it was. But that comes from that environment. And I didn't recognize that until much later on in my life. And when I recognized that, I was able to forgive and let go and now chill when I'm around my mom. But you guys might also be surprised. Your parents have some growing to do. And you have an opportunity to even help that and give them space to do that. Some of you are like, my parents. Your parents are not made of stone. They are malleable. They can evolve. They can change. I'm not saying it's going to be the case, but I've witnessed it. Have you witnessed it?
Yeah, and it's not going to be necessarily easy either.
Voilà aussi.
But yeah, there's a possibility there.
You said something crazy. You said the day you became a man is when you realized.
The day you realize you become a man, it's not that 18-year-old bullcrap. It's really when, one, you realize that your parents, sometimes two complete idiots, okay, and just because they didn't know.
Yeah.
And the second thing is that you realize.
Hold up. Re-explain the last part. What do you mean like they're two complete?
Well, they fuck up.
Okay.
You know that part where you protecting?
Yeah.
It's because you grow up. When you grow up, the answer is your parents. So you think you grow up and you're like, these the one that know stuff. But sometimes you realize, no, sometimes they don't know.
True.
They do not know. They're just winging it like anybody else. You think that being an adult is, oh yeah, I'm going to have my shit together. It's not. Nobody knows what the fuck they're doing. Excuse my language. Nobody knows what the hell they doing. They just winging it, right? So does your parents. And on top of that is your parents are raising you one generation late. They're raising you how they was raised, but you 2 generations out, and you're surrounded by other things that are happening in your generation, and it gets even worse when you're immigrants, because they raised you like they were raised, and you are in a country that is not theirs, so you're like 3 generations apart. It's rough, right? So you realize your parents, sometimes they don't know what the hell's going on. The second thing is you realize that you become a man when you're going to have to take care of them. You're going to have to be like, yo, asking you, is you good? Yeah, I'm good. And then you decipher that that's a lie. And you're like, no, you're not. What? Come here.
You know, the first time you had to figuratively slap your parents upside the head and be like, go to your doctor's appointment.
Yeah!
That's a weird one.
I had to take my dad like, you come in.
That's a weird one, right?
Yo! And
That's
I was like,
one.
yo. I heard you was on down that bullshit that you're not taking your pills. What the fuck is that?
It's so what?
What the fuck is? And you like, and I look at my dad like this, like what the, like I, remember Bliss show that I, what the hell is going on? What's that bullshit? Can you explain to me? I almost said that. Can you explain to me, young man? To my dad. Can you explain to me, young man? No. We're not laughing here, sir. We're not laughing here, sir.
Yeah.
What is that bullshit that you're not taking your meds?
Bro, my mom.
Yeah, but it's because, and then your dad's like,
Stuttering.
It's because, what is going on?
You're having flashbacks to you being a kid. Bro, I have to look at my mom and be like, hey, stupid, you about to go blind. Go to your eye appointment. No, but I don't want to. You're going to go blind. You're literally going to do more work for me when you blind. Go to your goddamn doctor's appointment so you make it easier for me to take care of you. I want you to keep your fucking eyes. You about to go blind, dude. But I don't want. You're gonna lose your eyes.
And then you're like, what do you understand? What did I have to do, oh God, to have
That's
this?
facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yo.
It's crazy. There's moments like that. It really is an evolution and a change. So I just. Yeah, I'm telling you, I got stories for days.
Yo.
But it's just like one of those moments. I'm like.
Yo, the fuck is wrong with you? When you know there's a switch, when you know, wait, I just said to you that shit was very damaging as a kid, that your parents call you names and shit, and then you grow up, because no matter how you're gonna try to get away from it, you're gonna become like your parents, okay? And then, something pisses you off so much, you look at your dad and like, listen here, stupid. And you call them a name. You call them just not, it's not, we're not f***ing around here. And that has actually helped me understand their position and the way they are. That's why I didn't give them C-. I gave them extra points.
Hey, it's some weird stuff out there. But hey, you know, we
You're about to go blind. That was.
I couldn't believe I'm yelling at her. You know what I mean?
You can't even understand that I have to explain this to you, lady.
But guys, this is the most beautiful thing. There's a point where your parents go from being your parent to your friend. And you're no longer just looking at them laterally. Now you're looking at them horizontally. And eventually you're the one who's looking down as they're starting to struggle. So you have to have that mindset of realizing there's going to be an evolution provided you guys both try to grow together. And so have those conversations.
Yeah.
You're going to see a change.
Yeah.
So, maybe you guys have stories yourselves, things you want to share. We want to hear from you in the comments. I love reading people's feedback. I'm telling you, I actually go through a lot of the comments and I do check them out. So leave it. But if you're enjoying these videos, make sure to like and all that stuff. We want to definitely be able to spread these. But I feel like this is a topic that's not talked about often, so I want to share that with you.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's
You about to go
blind, yo.